Sec 1 Chapter 5, 5.1b, Simple Equations in One Variable. Now, in this part of the chapter, your main aim is to learn how to solve simple fractional equations, and they need to be single fraction on both sides of the equation. The basic skill that you're going to learn to apply is to do cross multiplication. Let's turn to your notes, Chapter 5, Part 1. Look for exercise 2, okay, and the following questions. This is where we left off from our last lesson, right? Now, objective for this part of the topic is to find that I must have a single fraction on each side of the equation, and I try to use the method on cross multiplication. So now let's take a look at exercise 2D. Down here, I have negative 4 over x equals to negative 7. Now, we notice that both sides, we have a negative number. So, in this case, we can actually try to multiply by negative 1 on both sides to remove the negative sign. And we'll get 4 over x equals to 7. Now let's try to get a single fraction on each side of the equation. On this side of the equation, I have 4 in the numerator, x in the denominator. So this is already one single fraction. On the other side of the equation, this is 7. So I can actually have 7 over 1, such that 7 is in the numerator, the 1 is in the denominator. So what we're going to do, we're going to do cross multiplication. When we do cross multiplication, the equal sign stays in the center. Now the denominator cross and multiply over. So x will cross and multiply over to 7. So we have 7 times x. That will give us 7x. The denominator on this side will cross and multiply over. So 1 will cross and multiply over to 4. That will give me 4. Now 7 units of x gives you 4. What is 1 unit? How do we find 1 unit? We will do a division. So we'll divide by 7. And we'll get 1 unit of x. And that leaves us with taking 4 divided by 7. So therefore, x will be equals to 4 over 7. We'll try not to use a decimal in this case so that our answer is exact. Now, some of you may not understand the beauty of cross multiplication. This actually comes from the logic of removing your denominator on both sides. Let's take a look at the second method, and it tries to link to the shortcut on cross multiplication. So for example, I use back the same question. Firstly, I'll multiply by negative 1 on both sides to get rid of the negative sign. And now, if I were to remove my denominator, I have x in my denominator, so I do not want x. So technically, I need to multiply x away on both sides. So when I do so, and I multiply x on both sides, I'll notice the x in this denominator will cancel away. That's my objective, right? I want to remove the denominator. And x will appear on this side of the equation. So I will effectively get 7x to be equals to 4. And how do we get 1 unit of x? It'll be 4 over 7. And therefore, x will be equals to 4 over 7. So both of them are actually the same method. You receive the same answer. Let's try the next question. Exercise 2, question E. So now in this case, we'll try to have the left-hand side to get a single fraction. However, we notice, there's a number 3 with the negative 4 over 7x and negative 2. We can collect the like terms together on one side. So in this case, I'll try to remove the number 3. Now this is 3 subtract 4 over 7x. So how do I only keep negative 4 over 7x on my left hand side? And I do not want the number 3. What I can do is, this is actually 3 added to negative 4 over 7x. So I need to try to undo the operation, remove the 3. I will subtract 3 on both sides. So subtracting 3 on both sides will give me negative 4 over 7x on the left. And this side will become negative 2 minus 3, which gives us negative 5. Notice that both sides have a negative sign. So we'll try to make x positive. We're going to multiply by negative 1 on both sides, so that I'll get a positive 4 over 7x equals to 5. Now what is inside the denominator over here? X belongs to the numerator. So 7 is your denominator. We have one single fraction on this side now. And this is 5. We shall write it as 5 over 1. We have another single fraction. Using cross multiplication, the denominator cross and multiply over, we'll get equal sign stays in the center. 7 cross over and multiply to 5. 7 times 5, 35. 1 cross over to multiply to the numerator. So we'll get 4x times 1. 4 units of x is equals to 35. How do we get 1 unit? We'll divide by 4. So 1 unit of x is equals to 35 over 4. We can leave this as a decimal or a mixed number or an improper fraction, because this answer will be exact. Another method that you can try to do is, if you do not like to remove the numbers or group the like terms together, we notice that the denominator here is a number 7. Now I need to try to get rid of the number 7 in the denominator. So this is divided by 7. How to get rid of that? We'll do a multiplication. But we notice that there are 3 different terms here. So what do we need to do? If we multiply to 7 to the second term, I need to multiply 7 to every single term to make the equation fair, so that everything gets to be multiplied by 7. 3 times 7 will give you 21. 4x over 7 times 7, the denominator will disappear. We'll get 4x. And negative 2 times 7 will get negative 14. Now, let's group the like terms together. This is 21, a positive 21, subtract 4x. How do we get rid of 21? Okay, so we are going to keep negative 4x over here. And we are going to make group 21 over on the right side. It will migrate over. This is add 21. So when I migrate over, I'll do the reverse operation. It will be subtract 21. So this will be negative 14, subtract 21. What will we get? we'll get negative 35. Notice that both the numbers are negative. We can multiply by a negative 1 such that it will become positive 4x, 35. 4 units of x is equals to 35. How do you get 1 unit? Divide by 4. And this will be the answer. Let's try the next question. Please try this question on your own before watching the video and looking at the answers. Now let's take a look at exercise 2F. This is subtract 4 over 3x from 9. So the 9 over here is positive 9. Is 9 subtract 4 over 3x equals to negative 7. So what we are going to do, we are going to have a single fraction on both sides. So let us keep our equal sign. And I'm going to keep negative 4 over 3x. Remember, x is in the numerator. And I'm going to shift migrate 9, the like term, this is a constant term, together with negative 7. So I'm going to group this and migrate over to the right side. Now this is 9 added to negative 4 over 3x, an addition. So when I migrate over, I'm going to undo the operation. I'm going to do a subtraction. That will give me negative 7 subtract 9, which I will have negative 16. Notice that both sides of the number are negative. We can multiply by negative 1 to get rid of the negative sign on both sides. So this will become 4x over 3 and 16. I have a single fraction on my left hand side where the denominator is 3. My right hand side, I can convert this into a single fraction by writing 16 over 1. Now let us do a cross multiplication. Equal sign stays in the center. The denominator cross multiply over. So 16 times 3. 48, and the denominator over here on the right hand side cross multiply over, you get 4x. 4 units of x is equals to 48. What is x? This is 4 times of x, so we undo the operation. We'll do a division. So 48 divided by 4. 48 divided by 4 gives me 12. Answer. Alternatively, you can also use method 2 by removing denominator throughout the whole equation. So in this method, I noticed that the denominator is 3. So to be fair, I'm going to multiply 3 to every single term. So multiply by 3, 3, and 3. And that leaves me with 9 times 3, 27. Subtract and multiply away the 3, the denominator goes away. So I'm left with 4x. And I have negative 21. Let's rearrange and group the like terms together. So this will be negative 4x. This stays here. I do not want 27 over on this side. I can group it together on the right side with the other constant term. Now this is 27 added to negative 4x. So I'm going to migrate over and undo the operation. Originally it's addition, now it will be subtraction. So negative 21 subtract 27. That leaves me with 48. Negative 48. Notice that both sides have a negative number, so I can multiply by -1 to get rid of the negative sign. And then now 4 units of x is equals to 48. 1 unit will be equals to 48 divided by 4. And we have the answer. Let's take a short break. Give yourself a quick break, water break, before we move on to slightly harder questions. You may press the pause button to write down your answers. Exercise 2, question G. Now we have 1 over x minus 4 to be equals to 0. Now this part of the chapter, we can try to shift -4 over to the right hand side such that there will be a constant term. Okay, so I'm going to keep 1 over x on the left hand side. I'm going to migrate -4 over. So this is 1 over x subtract 4. So if I migrate over, I'll need to undo the operation. So instead of subtraction, I'll do a addition. So it'll be 0 plus 4. And that gives us 1 over x is equals to 4. And to use the cross multiplication method, this will be 1 over x. X is the denominator, 4 over 1, and 1 is the denominator. We're going to do a cross multiplication. Equal sign stays in the center. Denominator x cross over to 4. Cross and multiply over. So 4 times x gives you 4x. And 1 denominator cross multiply to 1. 1 times 1 gives you 1. 4 units of x gives you 1. How do we find 1 unit? So we divide by 4. And that will be 1 over 4. Answer. Alternatively, if you do not understand cross multiplication, you can also multiply the denominator away. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to multiply by x. X is my denominator. So I'm going to multiply x to every single term. And that will give me 1. My denominator disappears. Subtract 4 times x gives me 4x. And 0 times x will give me 0 multiplied to anything is still 0. Now we try to make x positive and we can migrate the terms over. So we notice that this is 1. Okay, and this is subtract 4x. So if I were to shift this over, it will become from negative 4x, subtraction of 4x, I will have an addition of 4x. And this will be positive 4x. And here will be 1. So similarly, x will be equals to 1/4. Answer. Please try the next few questions on your own before you check the video for the answers. Exercise 2H. Now, in this part of the question, we have subtract 6 over x from 9. Now, what other method can we do other than shifting 9 over? We can also try to shift -6 over x over to the left hand side, because there's nothing over here, it's just the number 0. So what we can do is we can keep 9 on the left hand side, and originally this is subtract 6 over x. So if this term were to migrate over, instead of doing a subtraction, we'll be doing an addition. So it'll be 0 plus 6 over x. That leaves me with 6 over x. So I'm going to do an addition. Now we can do our cross multiplication. This is just the number 9 over here. We can make it into a single fraction by writing 9 over 1. And this will have 6 over x. Using a cross multiplication method, the equal sign stays in the center. Denominator cross over and multiply. 1 cross multiply to 6, so 1 times 6 is 6. The denominator x cross and multiply over, so x times 9 gives me 9x. 9 units of x is equals to 6. How do we get only 1 unit? We divide by 9. So this side will be 6 divided by 9, 6 over 9. Let's check. Can we simplify this answer? Yes. 6 over 9 is 2 over 3. Method 2, we can try to remove the denominator. So in this case, our denominator is x. So I'm going to multiply by x through every single term. So it'll be 9 times x and x. So equal sign stays in the center. 9 times x gives me 9x. And we remove away the denominator, so we are left with negative 6. 0 times anything is still 0. Then I can keep 9x as positive number. And I'm going to try to migrate, subtract 6 over. So this is subtract 6 over here on the left side. If we were to migrate over, I'll do the reverse operation. That will give me 0 plus 6. And I get 9x equals to 6. Now 9 units of x is equals to 6. So what is 1 unit? That will be 6 over 9. Simplifying the answer, x equals to 2 over 3. Let's try the next few questions. Shall you do the answer first? Please try the following questions on your own before you check with the answer. Have you gotten the correct answer? We have come to the end of this part of the chapter. In this case, let's recall our objective. Our learning objective is to learn how to solve simple fractional equations which has one single fraction on both sides of the equation. And the skill that I should master is preferably cross multiplication. Now turn back to the front part of the notes. You have your success criteria page where you have the following learning goals for 5.1b. Please take some time to complete the 3 questions down here. Now I shall end off this part of the chapter. Alright, we will begin the next part in a short while. See ya!